This is a social science passage on the SAT reading section, which means we're going to be asked about arguments and ideas and data in these questions. What I'm going to do in this video is mark up the passage as I go through it. I'm doing part of a process called SQ3R, Survey, Question, Read, Recite, Review. The next video will have the 3R parts, the Read, Recite, Review. For our purposes, we're just going to do the survey and the questions. I'm doing this very slowed down for instructional purposes, and as you practice, please do this at whatever pace you like, but this method is intended to help you be efficient on test day and not get bogged down as you move through the passage and its questions. So first, we survey. Let's scope out the passage, what it's about, skim the first sentence of every paragraph, unfamiliar words and names, we're going to circle those, anything that really sticks out. We're not trying to read for content. We're really trying to read for shape, if that makes sense. What's the shape of this argument? What are its bones? What is it trying to do? So we'll do that, then I'll double back and I'll look at the questions, which I've got over on the side, and we'll just do a quick dash through those and use those questions to annotate the passage. And this is all before we're even actively reading for understanding. So here we go. Let's start with the blurb up here. The blurb can be very helpful because sometimes it can contain really important information about the ideas that the passage is dealing with. And okay, so this passage is adapted from Ian King, Can Economics Be Ethical? I mean, I feel like this says it like right there on the tin, you know? This is great. Let's hang on to this. So we're just going to go paragraph by paragraph. I'm going to read the first line and then skim the rest of it. Recent debates about the economy have rediscovered the question, is that right? Where right means more than just profits or efficiency. Okay, so there's some kind of moral question going on here. Some argue that because the free markets allow for personal choice, they are already ethical. Okay, so free markets are already ethical. That's idea number one. Let's be clear on what we're talking about. Okay, so now we're going to do some definitions. There are different views on where ethics should apply when someone makes an economic decision. Okay, so different views. Consider Adam Smith. Okay, there's one person who has an idea. And let's see if there's somebody else who has a different idea. Got more stuff about Smith in here. Talking about the wealth of nations. I'm just circling anything that's like a called out name or an idea. And I'm really not reading for content. Just looking for names. I'm looking for ideas. We've got one person who's got an idea. That's Adam Smith. We've got another person who's got an idea. Aristotle. That's another person. That's another name. Aristotle said ethics was about having the right character, displaying virtues like courage and honesty. There is yet another approach. Aha, there's some kind of contrast being made here. Instead of rooting ethics in character or the consequences of actions, we can focus on our actions themselves. So here's a new idea. We'll get back to that later. Many moral dilemmas arise when these three versions pull in different directions, but clashes are not inevitable. So we've got three different arguments. So we've got three different ideas about ethics in econ. We don't have to know what those are right now. I'm just circling this stuff. So many moral dilemmas arise when those three versions pull in different directions, but clashes are not inevitable. Whenever we feel queasy about perfect competitive markets, the problem is often rooted in a phony conception of people. We've got this person here, John Stuart Mill. I'm just, again, circling a name. These human quirks mean we can never make purely rational decisions. If those three earlier illustrations of ethics all require us to imagine a perfectly rational hypothetical person, then these two paragraphs are suggesting that's impossible. A purely rational person is impossible. And then let's look at the final line. Ethical economics would then emerge from one of the least likely places, economists themselves. I don't know what that means yet, but that's fine. And since this is a social sciences passage, we also have a graph. And we don't need to figure out exactly what this graph is saying. We just want to figure out, okay, broadly what's going on. Okay, regular coffee profits compared to fair trade coffee profits in Tanzania. Okay, so there's one thing that's regular coffee and one thing that's fair trade coffee and the profits of the two. Okay, dotted line represents fair trade coffee up here, and the unbroken line represents regular coffee down here. This is amount, US cents per pound. Okay, this is dollars. Okay, so it's like 130 cents per pound profit and like, I don't know, 57 cents per pound profit across years. So just looking at this broadly, it looks like fair trade coffee is more profitable than regular coffee. And we'll see how that connects back to the discussion of ethics throughout the rest of the piece. Now we've pulled out to look at the questions. Now we're on the question portion. And again, I'm not reading these for understanding. I'm just very quickly going to dash through these and see if there are any line references and mark those. So, okay, question 1, main purpose of the passage. That's what we're talking about here. Cool. In the passage, the author anticipates which objections. So we're going to be looking for objections to criticizing the ethics of free markets. That's what we're going to be looking for. And then we have to justify our answer to the previous question in question 3. So which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? Okay. So I'm just going to hunt out all of these answers. Okay, so lines 4 to 5, that's 3A. Lines 7 to 9, begins with but, ends with about, that's 3B. Lines 18 to 19, Smith, outcome, there's Smith, outcome, okay, 3C. And finally, 43 to 45, when to weigh, there's when, okay, so let's do 3D. Great. As used in line 6, embraced most nearly means, it's fine, here's embraced. And that's question 4. The purpose of the 5th paragraph, lines 38 through 47. 38 through 47. There we go. So that's question number 5. As used in line 49, so there's 50. Okay, clashes. And that's question 6. Which choice best supports the author's claim? For number 7. So we're looking for, and since I'm down here, since I'm already down here, I'm going to start from answer D since it's the lowest. So 63 to 65, that's 7D. 49 to 54, take to market. All right, that's 7C. 40 to 42, from to advertisements, that's 7B. And lines 10 to 11, that's 7A. Question 8, main idea of the final paragraph. Great. What's the main idea of the final paragraph? There's the final paragraph. That's question 8. And now, aha, these last 3 questions all say data in the graph. So 9 through 11 are all about the graph. So question 9, data in the graph about per pound coffee profits in Tanzania most strongly support which of the following statements? Okay, so which of these 4 statements is data supported? Great. Data in the graph indicates that the greatest difference between per pound profits from fair trade coffee and those from regular coffee occurred during which period? All right, so we're going to be looking where the difference between the 2 points is the highest. And finally, data in the graph provide the most direct support for which idea in the passage? So how does the data support an argument in the passage? So now we've surveyed the passage, we've gone through the questions. Maybe we have a basic idea of what it's about, which is basically encapsulated in the title. Can economics be ethical? Is it about more than just profits? Can it be about moral right and wrong? So what I'm going to do in the next video, now that I've done this basic question survey and marked it up, I'm going to go through the passage and read actively.